You are listening to the Let's Chat Soon podcast. We are so excited that you're embarking on this journey with us. Let's Chat Soon is a space where we chat all things body, soul, and spirit, and how when you align all three, you unlock a full life. A healthy you is the best gift that you can give to grow the kingdom and to those you love.
Welcome back to the Let's Chat Soon podcast. I'm your host, Alexis.
And I'm Mackenzie, currently trying to swivel around in my chair. Oh my goodness. We changed up our studio this week. We're in a new space.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a fun time. We are basically like sitting on an empty floor, to say the least. Anyone who's been over here, like the boys were talking a night ago, I guess. They were like, yeah, we went over to Alexis's place. There's no furniture.
There's
like
nothing
how
here.
does she live there? I'm like, it's new and old at the same time.
Yeah. I like to call myself like a couch hopper the past few months. Like everyone's like, where have you lived? I don't know.
Where do I live?
Different places.
No idea.
Keeps it fun and interesting.
I'm like, actually a mansion on Palm Beach. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like make stuff up. No one will know.
No, literally.
How would anyone know?
Okay.
Happy New Year, guys.
New Year. It's 2025.
It's 2025. I wonder how like everyone is feeling about it because I know how we're feeling about it.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm feeling about it.
Really?
Do I know how I'm feeling about it? I have no idea.
Oh, last episode you were like, I'm so excited for the new year. Like blank slate. Let's walk into it.
No, I am. I'm definitely feeling that way. I'm just a little scared that it's already 2025.
That's fair. I'm walking into this new year with like the Drake song going back in my head of like, had a man last year that goes on. That has literally been like the soundtrack in my head over and over again.
Yeah, same.
Like, so if that explains how I'm feeling walking into this new year, there's that.
There is that. I feel nothing.
I feel nothing at all. No, but the new year is terrifying in a lot of ways when we are like in this like wellness space and on social media and whatever, and everyone's like, I have these goals, I have these objectives, I'm doing this with the new year, I'm doing XYZ. And sometimes, I don't know, like I feel like we both know who we are in the way where it's not walking into the new year being like, I want a new year, new me.
Yeah.
There's things that we want, but also it's not like, I have no idea who I am, I need to change everything about myself. Like we are in our quote unquote mid-ish 20s.
Ew, please don't.
Ew. Where we don't want to necessarily like fully reinvent ourselves. We have goals, but it's not like, oh, I need to change everything about myself. I need to up my life. I need to whatever.
Exactly. There are so many areas of my life that I'm in love with. And I hate the quote like new year, new me, but I love a New Year's because I love like the start of something. And I like creating goals and like just different ideas of what I want this next time period to look like, but I don't want to like erase who I am or start over because I feel like I've built myself this far and I'm proud of what I've done. So it's not necessarily like, oh, I hate everything about my life, I hate everything about myself. I'm changing like the whole new year, new me motto, but I do like the clean slate of like, all right, it's a fresh start kind of thing, like fresh year, fresh people, fresh ideas, fresh whatever you want to call it.
We're recording on the Friday after New Year's, so I feel like it feels like a new year, but not really. Like I need a Monday. Exactly. I need a Monday for it to actually feel like a new year.
This is vacation for me right now. Like I'm in just full holiday swing.
Yeah.
Especially because New Year was on a Tuesday. Like what is that? So yeah, I agree. New Year doesn't even start till Monday, January 6th.
Yeah, no, I entirely agree. I'm like, New Year's falls on the 6th this year. Sorry about it. It's just simply going to happen because it was the holidays and then it was last 2 days have been days of football and then it's now wedding weekend for my roommates. So I'm like, no, this is full on holiday mode. I am shutting off my computer, logging off until the 6th, which is the new year.
Exactly. Yeah, I fully agree with that.
So welcome to day 2 of New Year's. If you're listening on the 7th.
Yeah.
So our episode comes out Tuesday.
That's so true.
So
this is brand new. 2025.
So if you didn't walk into the new year or like New Year's Day being like, all right, this happened. It's like, okay. It's entirely okay.
Yeah.
I feel like people are like, oh, doing dry January. Oh, doing this in the New Year's. Oh, doing this in the New Year. And they probably are already feeling so let down that like, well, it was a weekend of football. I drank. Me too.
So many times, everyone does it. Like we make these massive, gigantic goals. I literally was, I think, reading a book or listening to a podcast somewhere where they were like, okay, that's great. If you want to make all these goals for the new year, lovely. Make the goals and then cut them in half, because to actually reach them, like we always overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what we can do in 5. And I feel like we start with the new year being like, oh, I'm gonna, change my body completely, like do this, do that, start a business, make 20,000 in a month. Like, let's cut those in half and actually like make steps towards these goals if we want them to actually happen. But I think this also goes back to like, how do we know what goals to make? Because how do we know what we want? Which comes from like my whole why theory, which I can explain. I heard this from a friend, so I can't take credit for it. But basically, she was saying, like, how do we figure out what goals to make? And it's like, we do that by figuring out our why, or like our purpose. And you're basically just asking yourself a series of questions. So maybe you know that you want to be rich. You want to have wealth one day. That's just like a dream or a goal of yours. You're going to ask yourself why 7 times. So I want to be rich. Why? Because I want to travel. Why do I want to travel? Because I want to experience new things. Why do I want to experience new things? And you keep asking yourself why 7 times until you get, or like more, until you get to your like root cause of everything. If that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And I feel like that's also such a hard question to ask, because
this might take like days to figure out. Like this isn't something you just sit down and be like, why? Okay, got it. Like it's like you're actually really thinking about why do you want this? And that might be like a few journal entries, some prayers, and like a week or 2.
A couple sessions with my therapist.
Exactly.
It might just simply have to happen. But no, I feel like that's such good advice, because a lot of times, honestly, I did it too. I was looking at other people's vision boards when I was making my own vision board, being like, okay, what is everyone else doing this year? What is everyone else's goals? And I use the excuse of like, oh, I just like needed some inspiration. I just needed this. And then I like drove home from your house on the 1st and just sat and journaled and was like turning off my phone. I'm just going to journal. I don't need to look at a picture of like, oh, I want my life to look like this. What do I actually want more of in 2025?
Yeah, I think that is so good, because we did it. We did the mood boards, we did our little manifestation, whatever, put pictures, quotes. But I think that's really good to do after you figured out your why, so you can like visualize your dream life, but it's not just copying and pasting somebody else's dream life, but you're almost like creating pictures of the feeling of your why, of what you want.
Right. I also think, and this might be a hot take, that you can want things out of life that aren't super big, monumental things.
Yeah.
Let me explain. For the standpoint of like me traveling, I don't think I learn that much out of traveling anymore.
Interesting. Okay. I want to go on a tangent on this, because talking about Asia, everyone I talk to, they're like, you need to like go off social media and like take a break, and like you're gonna find yourself and find all these different things, and like it's gonna be this crazy experience. And I don't know if I'm just having like a mental block and I can't see that as happening, but I'm like, am I? Like, I'm not traveling to like find myself, I don't think.
We probably, because we're going for such a long time, probably will, honestly.
Yeah.
But
and I agree with like maybe getting off social media, being in the present, and like taking advantage of a big trip like this. But I feel like there's so much pressure, like when people are like, oh, you're traveling, and just like, I don't know. I get what you're saying.
Like, I'm also allowed to just travel to travel.
Right.
Because I enjoy it. And when I'm sitting down being like, okay, here's what I want out of this year. Yeah, I'm going to go and travel, but it's not because I need to do that. Like, I want to see the world. This has always been something that I've wanted to do, but I hate to be like, I'm not doing it for a deeper purpose, but I'm not doing it for a deeper purpose. When I moved to England, that was 100% for a deeper purpose. I needed to go and heal and find myself. Now I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of just doing it. I've said this a million times on the internet, but I'm just taking advantage of my singleness because I'm supposed to take advantage of my singleness.
Yeah.
I'm single. Might as well go book a trip to Southeast Asia.
Yeah. And like, do you need this huge purpose to go travel? Or like, does there need to be a purpose for travel?
No, because also at the end of the day, like, if you need to uproot your life and you need to do something so crazy to quote unquote find yourself, I don't need to do that. I can open my Bible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and, yes, I mean, I can say that, but I also like encountered the Lord so deeply when I was in England. And it's really cool to put yourself in different cultures and immerse yourself in different places and kind of just quiet all the noise. But I don't know. I think both are okay.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think it's a hot, maybe I agree with your hot take that like you don't always need this huge thing.
Yeah. But this new year really is interesting. I think my main objective more than anything is to just detox some things in my life. Like, I don't really have goals for this new year.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange walking into this new year. I just posted a reel being like, it's very weird walking into 2025 with being single. And when I turned 25 midway through the year, and married with kids by 25 was like the cutie thing you said growing up, and like making your 5-year plan when you're in high school, being like, oh, 5 years from now, I will obviously have the marriage and kids and whatever else. And I'm like, I'm so far from that. Like, I don't even, that's nowhere in my near future whatsoever. And it's more of like, I guess, accepting where I am in life than anything. Like, when I actually sit down and I look at my life, if I think about how grateful I am for so many things, I will start sobbing uncontrollably. And I think for me, I am such a goal-driven person. Like, naturally, I will make goals throughout the year all the time, and I will be striving super high. But I think it takes a lot more work for me to sit in my life and be like, I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm actually really grateful for where I am. I don't need to be reaching for the next thing, because truly, if I were to sit down and be like, all right, what is lacking in my life? Because my community is amazing. My family life is amazing. I love my job. I love so much in my life. Really, the only quote unquote thing I'm lacking is the marriage and kids.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, make these goals for yourself, the only thing I'm really longing for is that. And that can't be written down on a vision board. That can't be set as a goal. Like, what do you do with that goal when your goal is marriage and kids? Because I'm not going to rush into that. And I can't, it'll come when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I didn't eat the grapes underneath the table. Like, I don't want to rush that. And I think this is probably, it's not the first time in my life where I haven't rushed that, but it is scary being almost 25, and everyone on the internet's like, 25 is so young. Shut the heck up, Mackenzie. But when you had that expectation for your life and it is the one thing you're longing for, and you're choosing to go after other things instead of your quote unquote goal in life and your longing in life, I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I think I have had the same thing in my head. Like, oh my gosh, I am going to be 26 this year. Like, what do you mean? I don't even have like the marriage and kids in sight. Like, it's not even almost there. Like, we're, like you said, so far removed. But also, I think I can look back at my life and see how fast everything changes. And like, in a year or two, that could definitely be my reality. Like, looking at the trajectory of my life and how it's gone this far, like, things just change so fast.
Yeah.
And so it seems so far away, but I have to like almost rewire my brain and be like, whatever is supposed to happen will happen. And if I'm supposed to be married with kids by 28, 29, like, that can still happen. Even though in my head I'm like, oh no, that's crazy because I need this much today, and then I have to plan a wedding and be engaged for this long, and then, you know, the whole thing. But yeah, I think it's like letting down your expectations and just letting your timeline play out. And there's like a big difference between having expectations and having goals, I think.
100%. And I think we walk into New Year's every single time, or we walk into really any quote unquote plan that we have in our lives, and we're like, okay, I have these goals, but they're not really goals. They're expectations.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes things that we can't even control.
Exactly.
Like, they're not even in our hands. And we're like, all right, this is a goal for my life. it's an expectation. And then we get so let down when it doesn't happen. And I think that's the big issue with like vision boards and manifestation, because it's all in our own hands. And at the end of the day, our life is not in our own hands. It's in the Lord's. So if we're saying I have this expectation for marriage and kids, which I've done that a million times, I've said, God, I expect this. I know you are a God who blesses. I expect this next year. And then it doesn't happen. And what am I doing? I'm sitting upset with the Lord being like, why did this not happen?
Yeah.
That wasn't a promise he gave. And then I'm looking past all of the other crazy blessings that I have in my life because I'm disappointed in that area.
You're just like focused on this one thing.
Yeah. But also I don't think, like, I've had so many people tell me that the like marriage and kids thing is an idolization of my life, and probably more the kids thing than the marriage thing, if I'm being completely honest. But I've had people be like, oh, that's such an idolization. Like the Lord's not going to give that to you until you get rid of that idolization. And I agree and I don't. I don't think I could sit on this mic and be like, okay, I'm going to go and live out my 20s and go and travel and whatever if I still had that as such a big idolization in my life. However, my desire to be a mom someday drives everything that I am, and honestly drives the person and friend and daughter and really everything that I am, that I'm like, I don't want to shut that person down, because that desire does make me the nurturing person that I am. It does bring out so many good characteristics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think that is your why. Like if 100%. You were to do that, I think your why is like, oh, because I want kids someday and I want to be the mom someday. And I think like, I don't know, I haven't processed the whole like idolization part of it as much, but if that is your why, like your life should surround goals that are going to get you there. So like, yeah, you might not have the husband and kids now, but you're taking care of your health so that you can conceive children one day. And like you're learning about different things so that you can take care of your kids in a certain way. So it's like you are slowly like working towards that goal, I guess.
In quotations?
Yeah, because it's kind of an expectation, but it's also, it's not like you can go out and do it yourself. So it's an expectation because it's relying on outside factors, but there's still things that you are doing that I've seen you do and that you can do to like work towards it.
Right. But the argument's always been made to me of, well, what if the Lord doesn't bless you with children? Like that's not necessarily a promise you're given. And honestly, that's been a fear of mine. And a year and a half ago, I came head to head with that reality and was like, okay, God, if you don't bless me with children, I'm still okay. Like I'm still here. I'm still worshiping you. But I've also had so many people come into my life being like, no, like the Lord is going to give you the desires of your heart. And I kind of go back and forth with both of those of, okay, should I be living as if the Lord never gives me children, I'm still okay? When like that is my why, because then I don't know what else my why is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Weird. Sorry, guys. We're in like therapy right now, but
no, because you think of like people who get sick, and it's like, why? Like that. That's not obviously the longing of their heart. They don't want to like
right.
Like someone that has cancer in their 20s. Like, so what are they supposed to do? And like, is that from the Lord? Like, I don't know. I feel like that subject gets so messy because yes, God's going to give you like what's on your heart. I believe that. But then someone that's diagnosed with cancer, like that was never on their heart and they got that. So like sometimes you are just dealt bad cards.
Because there's sin in the world.
Right.
100%. Absolutely. And I think one thing that I come back to is, okay, yeah, even if the Lord doesn't bless me, he's going to bless people in my life with kids that like, I'm not going to hijack their children and raise them. But even like my best friend who's pregnant right now, in a lot of ways, the character that I have and the things that I've learned, I'm going to be able to hopefully help her someday.
Yeah.
I honestly wish I was having kids before her because I don't even relatively know how to help. I mean, I feel like motherhood, you don't know how to actually do it until you're in it.
Like it's instinctual.
It entirely is. So she's like throwing up every single day and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Aw, poor girl.
Literally. I'm like, I want to help, but I have no idea. Anyways, sorry for the little tangent there, but
no, I think I agree with you because I want those things too. I feel like, yeah, it's just like a hard thing because it goes back to the expectations versus goals, and like you can't really work towards that. But you can work towards a life that sets you up for that, so that when it does come into your life, you're financially ready, you have a healthy mind, healthy body, like things like that. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's a weird one. And for any other girls who are in that boat, it's honestly really hard to talking to friends who don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say anyone who is in that boat and maybe doesn't have a community surrounding that, hey,
Hello.
welcome. We'll be your best friends because honestly, I know how hard that is.
Yeah, I could talk about it all day.
Me as well. Me as well.
Can we talk about, I want to pick your PR brain, like how do we make goals? Like what does that even mean? I saw a video of this girl on TikTok and she was like, let's see if I made my 2024 goals or not. And like she got out her list and she was like, oh, did I eat better? No. Did I drink better? No. Did I don't know. It was just like this long list of very vague goals. And like there was no way to like see if she actually did it or not. So like how, when we're going into the new year and we want to not change who we are completely, but maybe just like elevate a little bit, how do we go about that? What I have found is basically like I learned like the SMART goal. Like I forgot the acronym, but it's like sustainable, measurable.
Yeah.
You know what
Attainable.
I mean? Yeah. Like things you can track and record.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we go into the new year and make all these huge things. And then at the end of the year, we're like, okay, did we hit it or not? But we're not even looking at it every month or every week. And we don't have like tasks that will get us to that goal. Like say you want to grow your TikTok account to 1 million followers. Like you can't just say that and then start posting willy-nilly and be like, oh, like hope I reach 1 million followers. Like you need a strategy to reach that. Like you need to break down how many followers do I need per month? How am I going to get that? What content goes viral for me the best? Like you have to plan out what you're going to post every day, like have a strategy behind that. And I think that goes towards every goal that you're going to be setting.
Yeah, absolutely. And the goal can be really broad. Like it can literally be anything of like,
want to be healthier.
I want to be healthier. But then your objective is, okay, what does healthy look like? So that's kind of how it's set up. The goal is the like broad purpose that you want to achieve. The objective is more specific and that one's measurable. So that girl who made the thing of like, oh, I want to be healthier. What does that look like measurably?
Yeah, because it's going to look different for me and it's going to look different for you.
Right, exactly. And then from that objective, then you're working into a strategy, which is the approach that you're taking to meet said objective. And then from there, it's tactics that are really specific actions and tools that you're going to use to reach said goal.
Yeah. And I think it's important to constantly like, just like we keep our vision boards out so we're looking at them, keep your list of goals out so you're looking at them. Like I hear people even, they remind themselves every day. Like they have like their goals while they're making their to-do list and they have that in their forefront of mind. So you know, like it kind of goes back to your why. Like why are you working so hard? Oh, because I want to reach this goal because this is my why. Like they all go hand in hand, but I think it's like why at the top. That's your driver, and then it's your goals, and then it's like your daily action steps. And so I feel like looking at those goals daily, weekly, monthly is super important to be able to reach them because otherwise you don't know what you're working for.
Yeah, 100%. And we live in a society now that is like kind of just okay with making a vision board and saying, let's manifest it, and then like giving it over.
Yeah, like, oh, it's going to happen, manifest.
No, work your butt off.
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck?
Fully agree.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that culture. It's like, I'm just going to manifest it and it's going to happen. And then that's like also all of the girls who do post about that. I know, like, if your dreams actually came true, why are we just saying like you manifested it? You worked your butt off.
Yeah, give yourself credit.
It is okay to do that. And we're like, lucky girl syndrome.
Yeah.
No, it is so much hard work. Like anyone who's grown a business, anyone who's gone after goals that were financially, business, whatever, it's so much work. And yes, there's like a place where if you're a Christian, like I wouldn't be like, oh, I manifested this. I would say like the Lord blessed me in these ways, but it isn't. I think both, like two things can be true. I worked for it and the Lord blessed it. I think the Lord blesses hard work too.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't bless laziness
Right.
ever.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's also like with the whole manifestation thing, like sometimes it's like almost I think we get confused with visualization because I think the more you visualize and the more things that you put around in your life that you're looking at constantly, daily, whatever, you're automatically going to be working towards those things because that's on the forefront of your brain. Like whatever's in front of us is what we're going to work towards. So I think we get confused like, oh, I manifested it when you have all these visualizations around you, but it's just like the power of visualization. And I think there's like a difference between that and manifestation, if that makes sense.
Are we going to talk about manifestation for a second?
We can, because I feel like we have different viewpoints on it.
We 100% have different viewpoints with it. I think it directly goes against the Bible.
Okay, why?
Because it is literally the opposite of prayer.
I guess what is manifestation to you then?
So I'm fully looking it up because I've gone in this. It's very like new agey. It's like of new age background, so to speak. So manifesting is essentially, quote unquote, the mindset of like forcing outcomes through your own power, which is like by definition what manifesting is. So it's basically skipping. It's trying to skip over God's will or go above God's will for your life by manifesting it. And I honestly, this is not me saying like, oh, manifesting isn't real. I think it is real. And I think that's why it's scary.
Okay. See, I grew up with parents who showed me The Secret at like 5 years old. And we had like manifestation boards in our basement when we were dirt broke. And then everything on those boards came true. Because I guess I don't look at it that deep of like I'm trying to release the universal powers to get what I want. I think I'm a believer in God, so I know that things come from him. But the whole like manifestation idea is just me visualizing and then working for it. Right. And like believing that's going to happen. It's more of like, I don't know, like, because I've seen things in my life that have happened that are from God, but I say I manifested it because I worked towards it and I told myself that it's going to happen. So I made it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think having that and then, or like having the board, like I think visualization and all of that is so great. But then, I don't know, I think it's the aspect of, not I'm only happy if these things happen, but I think a lot of people are like manifesting things and they're like, life's only good if this is good.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And that's where it gets tricky. And then Christians too, like kind of balance the two of saying like, I'm manifesting this, so it's going to happen. But then if the Lord doesn't bless it, it's the Lord's fault. When you were not even entrusting these things on this board to God, you were using your own quote unquote power. And then in turn, you end up getting mad at God when he never
wanted that for your life.
Wanted that for your life, or he was never even invited into that space.
Yeah.
He was never allowed into it.
Yeah.
Because I think about like the family aspect of it all. I'm like, yeah, if I am sitting here and being like, I'm manifesting this life for me where I have the marriage and kids, I could have that tomorrow. I could find a random guy and figure it out. Like, truly, I could be married with kids. I
literally could pick a guy off the street.
Exactly.
Today.
Tomorrow.
And convince him to marry me.
Right. But is that the Lord's best for my life?
Right. And is that what you truly want? Like, no.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I just think it gets tricky in that sense.
Yeah, I think it's all about like where your heart is. Like, I don't know. It's all about what your definitions are and like where your heart is coming from when you're talking about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that entirely. But so many people are like, or they'll comment on my videos and be like, manifesting this. And I'm like, girl, I couldn't dream this up even if I tried. Like, there's so many aspects of my life that went so wrong. Ended up nothing like I wanted them to, but I never planned on moving to Europe.
Yeah.
I wanted to be married by 22.
Wait, that is so funny because, yeah, like, what is it called when you get like more than what you asked for or wanted?
Right.
Like, I couldn't, like you said, like, I couldn't dream of this. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, literally, when I was in high school, I don't think I could have imagined this lifestyle. I don't know. I take that back. I'm a big dreamer, so I think I could, but I don't know. There is some aspects where it's like, oh, I didn't even know this was going to happen. Like, I never played it out like this. And that's how it went. And it's better than I expected.
Right, exactly. Like my prayers the whole time I was in that long-term relationship were, Lord, I want this so badly, but not my will, but your will. And I think if I would have not done that, if like manifesting actually has the power that I think it does, I think if I would have sat there and I would have quote unquote manifested that and not said those words or not communicated with the Lord being like, not my will, but yours, I would have gotten that. And I never would have gotten the business that I have. I never would have gotten the opportunity to live abroad. I never would have gotten any of those things because I would have been using my own power and not God's divine holy power.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think so many people are missing out on so much more than their vision boards because they're putting it in their own hands and not God's.
Yeah. I saw something. I don't know if it was like a video or a quote, but it was like, what if you got to heaven and then they show you like your whole life that you could have had if you just like trusted in him?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest fear, I think.
Right? Isn't
like
that
not
terrifying?
Living out. Scary.
No, I'm like in my head trying to think of like a TikTok to make around that, being like my life that I manifested, my life that like the Lord decided to choose for me.
Yeah.
One being so much greater, and one being honestly like half the things I would quote unquote manifest and ask for my life are so superficial. Like,
really? Like what?
I don't know. Like so much of my vision board, it's like hit 100K, which obviously is a goal of mine. But also, if I look deeper, my goal with social media has always been just to touch lives. And like, if I'm only blessed with 50,000 followers, like that's okay with me. And I've always said that. But I'm like, all right, I have this goal, but I'm not unsatisfied if I don't grow another follower.
Right.
From my account.
Yeah. See, I struggle with that because I have like big goals, I would say, for my life. And I haven't dealt like I want to reach them. Like I can't imagine not. So I'm like, I like have this hope that I'm going to. So I feel like I don't like, I think my timeline is like slower than I anticipated, but I'm fine with that. But I still am like, I have to reach them. Like I'm going to.
I just gave her the craziest look of like, ooh, the Lord's gonna.
But I feel
possibly
like
wreck you.
I think those came from him. So I don't know, because I feel like whatever our desires are, if we're following God, like they have to come from him. Who would they come from? Okay, that came out wrong because obviously we're human and we're going to have fleshly desires. But like if you are thinking about your whys and you're actually putting intention into things, like I feel like all my goals have came from him.
Right. But think about what you just told me at the beginning of I have this desire, but also obviously people who are sitting in hospitals sick don't have that desire. Like they had goals for their life. And
yeah. But I'm just saying like I still will work for the things that I want.
Right. Absolutely. Which I don't think is a bad thing at all. I came to a place, my faith did not become real until I moved to England. I was sitting on the floor sobbing and I just gotten done, or I was in the middle of doing the Daniel fast and I was fasting social media. And I was just like, nothing in my life has gone the way I planned it to. Like I had all of these big dreams and literally all of them feel like they have been completely crushed. And I just felt the Lord like put the words on my heart of like, if I never blessed you in one more way the rest of your life, would what my son did on the cross still be enough for you?
Dang. Yeah, that's steep.
And my faith wasn't real until I actually wrestled with that, because I like went a couple days after I got that feeling being like, is it actually like, should I throw in the towel and just be like, all right, I'm walking from Christianity?
Yeah.
Because the Lord's not blessing me in the ways I wanted him to. Is that okay with me?
Right.
Is what Jesus did on the cross enough to keep me here? If I don't get all of the things that I quote unquote desire, am I just going to like throw away Christianity?
Right.
It's an interesting thing to battle with. It sucks.
Yeah.
Because again, we want to see this like good God up in the sky who's just going to give us everything that we want. But unfortunately, that's not always the reality. Like life sucks in so many ways too.
I remember when I was like in my depths of hating life, I like read through the book of Job and I was like, okay, that puts it into perspective.
Right.
Like, my life is dandy compared to that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is true. Like you can't read one story in the Bible that's not one of some type of struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, like, looking back, like, some of my greatest victories comes from your greatest struggles. And that's like every single story in the Bible too. Like, he uses the people that are so down bad. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it's like you're more easily to be blessed when you have struggles, or if you just realize them more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I think it's a mixture of both. And I think coming back to so much of what we talked about in the terms of gratitude, like the second part you said of like you realize the more, you realize how high the highs are when you're been so low.
Yeah, I have said this literally 20,000 times, but like you should feel lucky because you can experience happiness without experiencing sadness. I've used it in the sense of like, I should feel lucky that I miss my ex-boyfriend because that means I actually liked him and we actually had a good relationship and a connection. If I didn't miss him, then it would just be like, okay. But like, it's good to feel the worst of the worst because that means you know what the other side of that is like. And that can go for anything.
Yeah. But we just went on like 50 million tangents.
Yeah, that was
but I feel like all very relatable tangents. And honestly, every single new year I've walked in to the year with different struggles like this, being like, all right, I'm wrestling with one thing or another. As a Christian, it is so hard sometimes of like, I feel like I'm supposed to have these big goals, but also like not my will, but your will, but also like, I want to do this to bless your name, but also am I doing it to grow my name? But also like, is that okay? Is that a bad?
Yeah.
There's so many components of that. So much. It's so hard to navigate.
I agree. I think it's an evolving thing too. And I could sit here next year and be like, all right, who am I again? Like, I don't know. But I think getting the core values down, almost creating like a mission statement for your life and then having everything go off that and living out God's plan for your life, you can't really like mess it up too much.
Yeah, no, I entirely agree. I also think when you do have a mission statement, it goes back to your why, but the why has to be attainable right now and at every stage of life. Because coming back to my why, obviously, of wanting to be a mother, I'm not just going to be in this weird limbo. Like my mission statement, I have no idea where it is. I've written a million of them, but it had nothing to do with being a mother. It had a lot to do with being nurturing, but it had nothing to do with being a mom because obviously that's not me right now.
Right. Yeah. I guess I think about mine too. Cause like I would agree that like I think my why someday will be my kids and my family. But at my mission, when I made my mission statement, it was much more about like people, not even like a specific person, just like changing the lives of people in general.
Right. And that's something you can do every single day.
Right. Literally.
We need to find our mission statements and actually read them.
Yeah, we should have those memorized, guys. If you're making mission statements, you need to know them. And that means I need to redo mine because I don't fully remember mine.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I've written 2 different ones and they're both sitting underneath my bed. Yeah,
that is something, I guess, like a goal of mine in 2025 is to stick to my goals. But let me explain. Like I'm sitting here on the mic saying like, oh, don't make all these crazy vague statements and then just forget about them for the year, because that's what I've done every single year. Like literally I make all these crazy things and then I don't look at them until the next year when I'm sitting down writing new goals, and I never reached the ones before. So like literally I did the thing where if like I made these goals, I cut them in half and then I wrote down like the steps to get there, and that's on my planner. We'll see if I keep the planner of like I'm looking at these every single week, almost daily, and so that I'm like keeping myself on track.
And when writing a PR objective or a PR campaign, you very much like set a timeline for it too. And you're having tactics that you're achieving 5 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. So I think even spelling them out, being like, all right, I'm going to do all of these things now, but come July, I have these tactics that I need to work through as well.
Because sometimes like maybe you're working at the wrong thing and you're not going to realize that. Like if it's so hard to push through, That's like another idea. I feel like I've heard like sometimes the door's closed. I think we as Christians be like, oh, God closed the door. Like, okay, moving on to the next. And no, sometimes you got to like pound a little harder and it takes a little work to get through that door because God still wants to walk through that. But sometimes he really is making it so hard for you because that is not the direction you're supposed to go in. And like, that's how he's guiding you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're like working towards something for so long and it's so hard and it's not coming through, like maybe start evaluating if that's the right path for you or not.
Yeah. I'm queen of trying a million different things.
Same.
Ask me how many licenses or certifications I have or am in the works of getting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Watch this time next year, I'll probably be getting my personal training. That'll be next on the list. Don't worry.
That. Yeah.
Just crazy because I hate school and here I am like trying to get a million things. But anyways, I'm a quarter of the way through to being a health coach. So there's that.
So exciting. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited.
I'm jealous that you're learning all the cool stuff.
It's very cool. I sat for like 7 hours yesterday and just watched videos on 1.5 speed.
I love that.
And took 2 quizzes.
Beautiful.
So fun.
Studious girl in 2025.
I love it. Literally love it so much. I love school. Also, if you're interested in said health coaching and you want to be a health coach in 2025, I'm linking up below. So
perfect.
There's that.
Maybe I'll join you.
You should. It's great. It's a fun time. I'm learning so much.
I would love to see the difference between, like, I already know the difference between my nursing school and the health coach is so different, but I feel like the health coaching would be so much more valuable than my nursing degree. That's so bad to say. Don't cancel me. I learned how to save lives, but like not true health. Anyways, okay. I have to cut that out. I'm just kidding.
Save lives, but not...
Save lives, not preventing death. All right.
But not prevent sickness.
Sickness.
Death. Death is crazy.
That was very aggressive.
We're going to end this episode super dark.
Sorry, guys. Anyways.
Crazy. I kind of like this setup.
I do too. It's nice.
I love the swivel chair.
I'm terrified to watch back and do the clips though, because I know I was swiveling aggressively back and forth the entire time. Like my nervous hand gestures just went into the chair.
Hey, at least we're not talking with our hands as much. Now I'm just like feet in my face.
Comfy, cozy.
Very comfy, cozy.
One day we'll have like a set up. But now we're just we're a traveling podcast, guys.
You're a traveling podcast. Mm-hmm. We will be coming to you live from Asia.
Yeah.
In a few short months. Woo. Crazy. Terrifying, truly. We're going to need to batch some episodes beforehand, though.
I agree.
Just to have on the back burner in case we cannot record from a hostel.
We're like stuck in a volcano or something.
Okay. No.
I don't know why I said that. That's crazy manifestation.
This is why we don't manifest.
No, I gotta get off this mic before I say something wild again. Well,
I'd love to be like, if you liked today's episode after we just ended with like stuck in a volcano.
Yeah, wait, let's say something good.
All right, go end on a positive note.
Blessings and goodwill for 2025 for all ye listeners. I don't know. I have to leave. I'm so sorry. I'm Irish goodbying. Love you guys. I'll chat soon. Mwah.
Okay, now that is, she said her goodbyes. I hope you guys got relatability more than anything out of this episode, knowing that it's really messy, whether it's the beginning of the year, the end of the year, right in the middle of the year. Coming head to head with who you are and having to evaluate your life can be really messy. But I used to go and work at this church camp, and they would always say, a life not evaluated is a life not worth living. And I think constantly going through yearly, monthly, and just evaluating your life and whatever that looks like to you is so helpful, because we all have so much to give. And we shouldn't limit ourselves to a vision board, to goals, to really anything other than what the Lord's got for us. So with that, I hope you guys have the best New Year's. I hope you're walking into this new year with so much joy and so much hope for what's to come. And we will chat with you guys next week. We love you guys, and let's chat soon.
Bye.